An engine that looked like it was drunk, but ran like it was sober. The Chrysler Slant 6 225, officially tilted 30 degrees from vertical, became one of the most beloved engines in automotive history, not for its power, but for something far more valuable: absolute, unshakable reliability. From 1960 to 1987, this leaning tower of power quietly became the backbone of American transportation. While muscle cars grabbed headlines with their big block V8s, the humble Slant 6 was busy earning a reputation that mechanics still speak about with reverence today. Stories of 300,000-mile engines that never missed a beat, of cars abandoned for years that started on the first crank, of engines so durable that killing one required genuine effort. But here's the fascinating part. This tilted wonder wasn't just tough. For a brief moment in racing history, it was genuinely fast. So how did an engine designed for economy become a legend of both endurance and performance? The answer reveals everything about Chrysler's unique approach to engineering. Historical context and development. The Slant 6 wasn't born from corporate boardrooms or marketing studies. It emerged from a genuine engineering crisis at Chrysler in the late 1950s. The company was preparing to launch the all-new Plymouth Valiant Compact for 1960, but they had a serious problem. None of their existing engines would fit. Chrysler's six-cylinder offerings were antique flathead designs dating back to before World War II. Overweight, bulky, and completely unsuited for the sleek, low-profile Valiant that styling chief Virgil Exner had created. The company needed something revolutionary, and they needed it fast. Enter Willem Weertman, Chrysler's brilliant manager of engine design, who took a clean-sheet approach that would change automotive history. Working under intense pressure, Weertman and his team, led by engine wizard Robert S. Rary, had less than 6 months to create an entirely new power plant. The solution was audacious. Tilt the entire engine block 30 degrees to the right. This seemingly simple decision solved multiple problems simultaneously. The slanted configuration allowed for a dramatically lower hood line, which was crucial for the Valiant's sleek styling. More importantly, it created space for long, straight-intake manifold runners that would distribute fuel and air more evenly than traditional inline-six designs. The team developed two versions, a 170 cubic inch LG, low G for the compact Valiant, and a larger 225 cubic inch RG, raised G, for full-size applications. The 225 featured a long 4.125-inch stroke that would become legendary for its torque production. The Golden Age. When the Slant 6 hit the market in 1960, Chrysler initially marketed it as the 30D Economy 6, but the public had their own name for it. The distinctive tilted profile and unbreakable reliability quickly earned it the nickname Leaning Tower of Power, a title that would stick for decades. The 225 cubic inch version became the star of the lineup, producing 145 horsepower and 215 pound-feet of torque in its original form. But power numbers told only part of the story. What made the Slant 6 legendary was its unique combination of engineering features that worked together to create something approaching automotive immortality. The secret lay in Weertman's clever bunch of bananas intake manifold design. Since both intake and exhaust ports were located on the same side of the cylinder head, exhaust heat naturally warmed the intake manifold floor. This kept fuel vaporized and improved cylinder-to-cylinder distribution, a major advantage over conventional inline sixes with their unequal manifold runner lengths. Consumer reports consistently praised the Slant 6 for beating both GM and Ford's straight sixes in performance and fuel economy. Internal GM testing of a 1961 225 confirmed what Chrysler owners already knew. The tilted 6 was producing honest power while its competitors were inflating their numbers. Technical brilliance. What made the Slant 6 nearly indestructible wasn't magic. It was methodical over-engineering combined with brilliant design solutions that addressed fundamental weaknesses of traditional inline sixes. The 30-degree tilt wasn't just for packaging, it was aerodynamically and thermodynamically superior. The slanted configuration created optimal airflow around the engine bay while allowing for the revolutionary intake manifold design that gave each cylinder equal access to fuel and air. This eliminated the dead cylinders and uneven running that plagued many contemporary sixes. Chrysler's metallurgy was exceptional for the era. Pistons were tin-plated aluminum alloy with steel struts to maintain dimensions during thermal cycling. The top piston ring featured chrome plating, while the second ring was tin-plated. Most importantly, the 225 received Chrysler's first-ever steel rail oil control ring, the chrome-plated Sealed Power SS50, which solved early oil consumption issues. The long-stroke design, 4.125-inch stroke versus 3.40-inch bore, prioritized torque over high RPM capability. This created massive low-end pulling power perfect for trucks and heavy cars, while the undersquare geometry provided excellent fuel economy and reduced internal stress. From 1961 to 1963, Chrysler even produced over 50,000 aluminum block versions of the 225, featuring die-cast construction with cast-in-place ferrous cylinder liners. While these proved somewhat troublesome and were discontinued, they demonstrated the company's commitment to advanced engineering solutions. Challenges rise. By the late 1960s, the Slant 6 faced a peculiar problem. It was almost too successful for its own good. While the engine had earned an unshakable reputation for reliability, it was increasingly seen as boring and outdated in an era when performance was king. The muscle car boom created an image problem for the humble six-cylinder. While big block V8s dominated magazine covers and drag strips, the Slant 6 was relegated to economy cars and fleet vehicles. Enthusiasts automatically dismissed it as inadequate, preferring V8 swaps over exploring the six-cylinder's potential. This perception was partly Chrysler's fault. After a brief but brilliant early performance program, the company largely abandoned high-performance development of the Slant 6. The legendary Hyperpack performance package, which boosted the 170 to 148 horsepower and the 225 to an impressive 196 horsepower, was discontinued by the mid-1960s. 7 Hyperpack-equipped Valiants had swept the first 7 places at Daytona's compact car class, proving the engine's racing potential, but corporate priorities shifted elsewhere. Emissions regulations of the 1970s created more serious challenges. The Slant 6's simple, robust design struggled to meet increasingly strict requirements without significant modifications. Power outputs dropped dramatically. The 198 cubic inch version introduced in 1970 fell from 125 horsepower to just 95 by 1973. Most significantly, newer V6 designs promised better power-to-weight ratios while maintaining fuel efficiency. Chrysler's own V6 development programs suggested the inline six's days were numbered, despite its legendary durability. The transition. The end came gradually, then all at once. Chrysler began phasing out the Slant 6 in the early 1980s, but the decision wasn't made lightly. This engine had become synonymous with Chrysler reliability, and abandoning it meant walking away from one of the company's greatest engineering successes. The writing was on the wall by the late 1970s. Corporate average fuel economy standards demanded higher efficiency, and while the Slant 6 delivered respectable fuel economy for its displacement, newer designs promised significant improvements. The 1976 Feather Duster and Dart Light, equipped with 225 engines and lightweight components, achieved an impressive 36 miles per gallon highway, the highest rating ever achieved by an American six-cylinder compact car. But even this wasn't enough to secure the engine's future. Emissions regulations continued tightening throughout the decade. The introduction of catalytic converters in the mid-1970s required engine modifications that hurt performance without significantly improving the Slant 6's competitive position. By 1981, Chrysler had switched to electronic feedback carburetors and added engine control computers, creating complexity that went against the engine's fundamental philosophy of mechanical simplicity. The 1981 model year marked a significant change. Chrysler finally adopted hydraulic lifters after more than 2 decades of solid lifter operation. This transition wasn't smooth. Early hydraulic lifter versions suffered from reliability problems that would have been unthinkable in the solid lifter era. 50% of early hydraulic lifter engines either wouldn't start or had pounding lifters, a quality control disaster for an engine renowned for reliability. Customer preferences were shifting as well. Buyers wanted more sophisticated powertrains with electronic features and diagnostic capabilities. The Slant 6's purely mechanical nature, once its greatest strength, now seemed antiquated compared to more advanced designs with electronic fuel injection and computerized engine management. The final blow came from Chrysler's own V6 development programs. The company's new 2.2-liter four-cylinder and upcoming V6 engines promised better performance, packaging, and fuel economy than the aging inline six. Corporate resources were being redirected toward front-wheel drive platforms where the Slant 6 couldn't fit. When production ended, the Slant 6 had enjoyed a 27-year run in passenger cars and an even longer life in commercial applications, a remarkable achievement for any engine design. Legacy and modern resurrection. Here's the remarkable thing about the Slant 6. Its reputation has only grown stronger with time. While other engines from its era are remembered as products of their time, the Slant 6 has achieved something approaching mythical status among automotive enthusiasts. Modern hot rodders have rediscovered what Chrysler proved briefly in the 1960s. The Slant 6 has genuine performance potential. Contemporary builders regularly achieve impressive power numbers with turbocharging, fuel injection, and modern engine management systems. The engine's robust construction and long-stroke characteristics make it an excellent candidate for forced induction applications. The marine and industrial markets never forgot the Slant 6's virtues. These engines continue to power boats, generators, and agricultural equipment decades after automotive production ended. Stories persist of Slant 6s in commercial service accumulating extraordinary mileages, 500,000 miles or more, with routine maintenance. Perhaps most tellingly, mechanics who worked on these engines speak of them with genuine affection. In an era of planned obsolescence and complex electronics, the Slant 6 represented engineering honesty, an engine designed to work and keep working regardless of conditions. The engine's influence extends beyond its own production run. Chrysler's later four-cylinder engines were sometimes called Slant 4s in internal documentation, attempting to associate them with the 6's durability reputation. When Chrysler developed their 2.2-liter four-cylinder engine in the 1980s, they specifically tried to capture the Slant 6's reliability characteristics. Today, Slant 6 clubs and forums maintain active communities dedicated to preserving and modifying these engines. Restoration parts remain available, and specialized shops continue rebuilding Slant 6s for enthusiasts who understand their unique value. The Slant 6 proved that sometimes the best engineering solution looks completely wrong until you live with it every day. In our age of complexity, what can we learn from an engine that just worked? Share your thoughts and subscribe for more automotive legends.